Good afternoon. Welcome to Todd Klindt's SharePoint podcast number 295. 295 closing in on 300, recorded live on Monday, June 6th, 2016. I am your host, Todd Klindt, and I will be guiding you on the journey here for the next 30 minutes or so about all kinds of great things about SharePoint and Office 365 and Azure and all kinds of great things like that. But stick with me. 30 minutes, I'll make it worth your time. No more if I can stand it. Your time is valuable to you, valuable to me, but we'll get through this together. While you're doing this, if you're sitting at your desk, you got this going on, got your headphones on, drowning out all of the collaboration going on in your open office space. Go to SharePoint.rackspace.com and see what SharePoint offerings we have out there. And while you're there, pop open another tab, go to Rackspace.com/Microsoft. We've got a bunch of other Microsoft offerings. We've got Exchange and Skype for Business and Windows and SQL and MS Train Simulator. No, we got rid of MS Train Simulator. Dark days at the castle. But anyway, check it out there. We are a full service Microsoft shop. So go check all of that out. Production notes as I try to advance my slides. There we go. The production notes. It has been a crazy few weeks here at the Todd Klindt podcast show. We had the 1 week where YouTube didn't record anything. We've had a number of things. We've had the week where IRC vanished about 6 hours before I went on the air, and so we had to scramble and get Slack set up. By the way, Slack is working great. The hooligans have adapted well to Slack. Just today, Laura Rogers, one of the hooligan extraordinaires, asked about me installing Giphy. Giphy is this way to add pictures and animations and stuff. All hell will break loose in Slack once I enable that, and I'm happy to. I just haven't done it. But the hooligans are going well. So if you are listening and you're like, hey, I'd like to find out about this Slack deal and get invited and all of that, you can go out to toddklindt.com/Slack invite, all one word. There's a little form there. We can't just leave it open. We have to get your email address. We have to send you an invite. So if you go to toddklindt.com/Slack invite, throw in your email address, we will send you an invite to the much coveted Todd Klindt Slack channel, and you can join us on Mondays at 4 o'clock Central when we record this. Honestly, I'm in there most days every day, so you can just pop in and say hey and all that kind of stuff. Somebody just jumped in now. We've got a new person, so we'll get Giphy installed, and the shenanigans will continue. But it's been a pretty crazy last couple of weeks. So then the big one was 2-3 weeks ago, my blog disappeared. Poof, just gone. Like the proverbial fart in the wind. That's where my blog went. So I kind of had to scramble to get that rebuilt. And the impact that had on my podcast was not only were all my podcast recordings, so the things that you folks download, the MP3, MP4 files, they were hosted there, gone. But the RSS feeds that populate that also in there, also gone. And it took a while to get the blog going and all those kind of things. And we're pretty close. We're pretty much out of the woods. Now, what hasn't happened yet, and something that I need to do, is I have not put all of the blog posts back in, all 294 of them at this point. I've got it back through about 200, and that's probably as far back as I will go unless one of you guys out there in the community says otherwise. I have all the files. I've got them all saved in multiple places, but I just uploading them all is kind of a pain. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them all back to 200. And then add a couple. I'm going to leave the first one there because it's just awesome, contrasting the first one back in 2009 to this one. And maybe the one right after I hurt my hand playing Connect, I might leave that one in there. Disconnected, another one of my favorites. But other than that, I'll probably just go back to 200 and prune the rest out. We'll see. Again, if you've got feedback on that, let me know. You can hit me up at Todd Klindt. You can email me, todd.klindt@rackspace.com. Let me know what you think about pruning that out. But that's about the only thing that I have left to do. Now, when that whole thing started, when my blog exploded and I tried to restore it and couldn't restore it and all the other things, I had a couple other things in the works that I'm going to get back into now. The first is I had a request that from somebody that I add this podcast to the Google Play podcast store. So I checked into that, and that is not a big deal. And then all my blog posts all my podcasts went away. So I'll be adding this to the Google Play store here in the next week or so. I also have to redo my image. So I'm because they have a minimum resolution requirement, and my image is too small. So I'm going to be doing a new cover art for the podcast, and once I get that in place, I'll submit it to the Google Play Store, and I'm sure they will accept me. They will be happy to have me. They will love my my humor and my information. So I'll get that out there. So for those of you with Android devices and things like that, I'll be showing up in Google Play soon. Also, another thing that I had coming was the folks at IT Unity. So they recently were acquired by Petri.com and all of that. And they reached out and asked if I wanted to have my podcast published out there. And I said, heck yeah. So once the process is in place and I've got the podcasts and all that, then they'll start showing up on itunity.com. You should already be going to itunity.com and petri.com. That's petri.com. But this will be out there soon, and it will be out there. So the idea with this, so then I'll be on iTunes, Google, CMS Wire covers some of my stuff, obviously my own blog, IT Unity, things like that. The idea is however you consume podcasts, I want to be there so it's easy for you to consume it. Lord knows this podcast is not worth going to too much effort to download. But I'm going to try to get anywhere. So again, like the person who submitted and asked me to be on Google Play, let me know and I'll see if I can get it someplace else. So Christopher in the chat room is mentioning the same network as Paul Thurrott. Yep, that's where I'm going. So Petri.com and Thurrott.com. I've been working with those guys last fall. I met up with Paul and Brad Sams. Also the Sams Report, another good podcast to grab, Brad Sams. But they were talking about bringing some of my stuff over to Petri and helping out. And I'm like, and I was talking to him about, do I put my stuff at toddklindt.com? Do I put it at petri.com? And Paul's like, well, I could always give you todd.thurrott.com. And I'm like, well, Paul, you drive a hard bargain. I think I'm going to have to politely decline your generous offer of todd.thurrott.com. But yeah, it's all those same folks, and it's all the folks that I listen to and all the folks that I read. So it's awesome to be involved in all that. But if you don't already go out to Thurrott.com, Petri.com, all those places, check that out. Kyle is asking in the chat room if I'm not already on Android. I don't know. I don't use the Android podcast player. So I do have an Android phone. I have a Galaxy S7. Love the pants off this little devil. But I don't use the Google Play podcast app. I use Pocket Casts. And let me see if I can open this up quickly without embarrassing myself with all the podcasts that I listen to. So I use Pocket Casts, and I don't know if I found myself in there, but they don't use the same database that the Google does. So yeah, and so yes, on my phone, I am on Android, have been for a while. But again, Galaxy S7, heck of a phone. So anyway, I digress. Going to be all over. If there's other places you'd like to see, like I think Stitcher's one of them I need to go to, something like that, give me a shout and let me know, and I'll make it happen for you. Okay, so let's go on to some topics. So one of the topics that I want to talk about is my blog. I covered that a little bit during the production notes, mostly back online. And so there was just a bunch of different pieces that had to fall into place. And one of them that I wanted to shout out specifically was the SharePoint short URL folks. And I think I talked about them last week. Also, let me check my notes. Yep, I sure did. But that was one of the big keys that I've really become reliant on. And I think that's all in place now. So other than some podcasts that aren't there, all my blog posts are there. All my old URLs are there. My podcast feed is there. It's all up and going. The only thing I don't have going right now is I don't have email alerts set up. So if you guys leave comments, I don't have an email alert telling me about that. And I just kind of not thought about that one. So I apologize if you've left comments out there. I have not replied to them. I'm on a Rackspace hosted machine, and there's a lot of look in the Slack channel. There's a lot of email spam prevention stuff in our cloud. And so I need to register my address and things like that. I just have forgotten to do that. So anyway, if you find something that's missing with my blog or something like that, let me know. I did forget about one production thing that I had in my notes even and forgot to mention it. Big changes here on the Todd Klindt podcast studios. In a little over a month, sometime in the middle of July, late July, we will be moving studios. Yes, so for however many years here, 6 years or whatever, I've been broadcasting live from the basement of stately Klindt Manor here. And we are moving stately Klindt Manor. My wife and I bought a new house, or bought a different house last week, and we're going to be moving about 1.5 miles that way. And we close in the middle of July on the new place. So one of the things is, my wife and I've been looking at houses for a while now. And one of the things is, every place that I went to, had tried to figure out, where am I going to do my podcast, and where's my office going to be? And that's great, but I can't be in an office with windows everywhere and all that, because I need something. So I think I've got a pretty good podcasting location. So that will be sometime in the middle of July when we make that cut over. So we'll have to see. I'll try to get myself a little more room so I can put a green behind me or something like that. But that will be happening in July. Also, I may have to set up a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something to help fund the move and all that. Turns out selling a house, buying a house, all that, very expensive. Christopher in the chat room asks, will the old house now become a SharePoint historical site? I hadn't thought about that, but I love that. Get one of those signs out in the yard and people can come by and visit. You laugh, but I'm a pretty friendly guy. Anybody who's met me can appreciate that. And there have been multiple SharePoint folks that have stopped by just because. So Interstate 35 runs, a couple miles out of town here, and people like for SharePoint Saturday, Minneapolis, Mark Rackley was driving through, and I'm like, hell, you need to stop by. So he stopped by. Lori Gowan stopped by when she was around for some business stuff. Todd Bleeker, though that almost doesn't count because he grew up like a mile from here. But it's been a vacation, or at least a spot for folks to stop by. So that's kind of funny. I'll see if I can get one of those plaques that will get put in the yard, something like that. But very fun stuff, exciting, terrifying, all those things. But that will be happening. Now we're halfway through the podcast. Let's talk about some technology. Let's talk about SharePoint. What do you say we do that? Go ahead. One of the things. So not only is my blog back, but SharePoint is back. One of the exciting things that happened in the last week was Microsoft made good on their promise a month ago at the Future of SharePoint event, and the Sites tile in Office 365. At least for first release, and it's kind of gradually rolling out. But that tile no longer says the nondescript, boring old label of Sites. Now it says SharePoint. If there was ever a doubt that Microsoft is invested and all in on SharePoint, it's there now. That should have said SharePoint the entire time. Those are dark days that it said Sites instead. But now it says SharePoint again. If your tenant doesn't have that, be patient. It's rolling out, but people are starting to see it. So that was one of the things they talked about at the Future of SharePoint event and in the Future of SharePoint blog post at blogs.office.com. Another thing that they talked about was they were going to be releasing the site contents page, and that is now available for first release tenants. And so the site contents page is something that goes at the root of your site collection that kind of gives you a dashboard of what's going on inside of your site collection. It's got links to your libraries, things like that, but then also links to common activities that you do. And that's just another one of those things that they're constantly improving Office 365, constantly improving SharePoint Online. And so I'm glad to see that they're updating that and following through with that. If you don't have that yet and you want to try it out right now, it is only available to first release tenants. And so you'll need to turn your tenant on to first release or something to get that functionality. If you have the new portal, so for pretty much everybody that's not government or not CSP or in various states, you're getting the option to preview the new portal. And I'm going to give you the instructions on how to turn your first release tenant on in the new portal. We've talked about how to do it in the old one. In the new portal, so you've got all your stuff, and then on the side you've got your icons and all that. You want to go to the gear, you want to go to the settings link, and then go to the organizational profile. And then on there is a release preferences shortcut. And that's how you decide whether you're a standard release or a first release tenant. And if you're first release, you have a couple of options. You can be a first release for the entire tenant, or first release for just a few people, select people, so you can turn things on and off. So I recommend doing that. I recommend having one of those sitting around so you can always kind of keep ahead of what's going on. If you don't have that kind of space and you're worried about messing with your regular tenant because of whatever, remember, you can get month-long free trials of Office 365 just by going to office.com. You can sign up for a free trial and then turn that first release on, wait a couple of days, and get all the new first release things for nothing. Play with it for a month and not be out anything. So always exciting. I know when Office 365 and SharePoint Online first started being a big thing, we were all kind of nervous about the updates because updates broke things and Microsoft may not have communicated very well when things were going to change. So one day we're happily going along, loving us some SharePoint Online, and the next day our phone and our IM and our email is deluged with users who are confused and frightened because of some new feature that's come out in Office 365. We gnashed our teeth, we whined mightily, and Microsoft, they listened and they fixed some of that stuff. So it's always good. It's almost exciting now to see what's coming out new because they've got so many cool things coming out. So don't be afraid to go take a look at that. And also there is a site contents page that you can go out and read more about the site contents page and kind of get a good overview on that. So while I was out poking around in Office 365 this week, I found some other cool things. A lot of times I talk about things in my podcast or on my blog, not so much to let you folks know about it, though it's great when you do, but mostly so that I can still find it later when I'm trying to figure something out. And this next link is definitely one of those things. It is a link to the SharePoint Online software boundaries and limits. So we have, for many versions, many years of SharePoint, had the server software limits that we've found. That's where we originally saw about the whole, site collection shouldn't be more than 100 gig, all that kind of stuff. That document's been out for a while. But when you're dealing with SharePoint Online, you have different things to worry about because you don't manage the servers and that kind of stuff. And so it's tough to know where those boundaries and all that are at. So with that link, the SharePoint Online boundaries and links at support.office.com, you can find out some of those things. And there's some great things in there. I'm not going to go through all of them because that gets kind of boring. It's kind of like reading the phone book. But it is things like the amount of storage. What's the storage limit for a tenant type, which is great for planning ahead and governance, things like that. How many site collections can you have per tenant? Is a soft limit, is a hard limit. What about subsites? How many subsites can you have inside of your site collections? Things like that. What is the upload limit, which is 10 gig? That's just amazing to me. What are the email attachment size limits? Things like that. So that's good for you. You're going to have users that are going to try to push those boundaries. So it's good to have that document right there where you can reference it. Also, as your company is thinking about going, to SharePoint Online or going hybrid, having that document handy is a good one to compare what you can do online, what you can't do, on-prem, that kind of thing. So keep that one, bookmark that one. That's a good one. While I was looking at that one, I stumbled across another great page, and this is one that I've actually had to whip this out in the last week or so. And this is the Office 365 URLs, IP addresses, and it doesn't say so, but ports that you need as an Office 365 client. And this is really handy for your security folks. Moving to Office 365, moving out into the cloud is terrifying for security folks. There's a lot of there be dragons going along where once you lose control of things, it seems very scary, even if it's not. The unknown is very scary. And so they lock things down and then stuff doesn't work and you're not sure why. This document, also at support.office.com, lets you know which URLs and which ports and which IP addresses you need for SharePoint and Exchange and Skype for Business and all those kind of things. So that's another one to kind of keep in your back pocket for security discussions. If you've got some crazy traffic, you don't know where it's coming from or where it's going, that's a good one. There's just all kinds of great things out there. Microsoft has done a really good job listening to our pleas about documentation and things like that. And there's just so many great documents out there. It's almost, when I go to support.office.com, it's almost as bad as when I click one of those links on Wikipedia, and we all know how that goes. You're looking something up on Wikipedia and you're going to look at one page and one page only just to find out, is there such thing as brown zebras or not? And if so, is it a white animal with brown stripes or is it a brown animal with white stripes? And you click that one link, every bit well-intentioned to go right back to work. And the next thing you know, it's 2 hours later and you're reading about the history of Zanzibar or something. I'm finding myself having that once I start going to the support.office.com links because I read these links. There's so much great stuff. And then I get to the bottom like, well, that's sort of an interesting related link. And the next thing I know, I'm clicking and hours go by. So be careful with that. You're probably going to see more of these links showing up as I read more of these things. One of the other places that I like to hang out is the Active Directory team blog. So you all know that I do. I've been very much involved in Azure Active Directory, and I've been talking about that at conferences and playing with that. So this is one of those things. Alex Simons at Microsoft, he's a product manager for something or another. I follow him on Twitter, and I listen to or read the Active Directory team blog. And this is one that came up last week, and it's kind of a silly one, but I thought I would add this. Adobe Acrobat now integrates, and it's Acrobat DC, integrates with Office 365 and OneDrive and Azure Active Directory. So now when you're running Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, you can add your OneDrive location and SharePoint to your add those accounts to your Adobe thing, so you can save things there directly, all that. And of course, his blog post is from the authentication side and what all that means and all that. So he's talking about the OAuth and the protocols and all that. But I really love watching more applications, client applications and server-side applications and all that start connecting with Azure Active Directory, and just more things out there that make it easy to consume. So I just love that. And everybody uses Adobe Acrobat or something of different flavors. PDF files are over. I did have and I don't have this in my notes, but I had an unrelated issue last week. I used the Foxit PDF reader, and like a week and a half ago, it just quit working. Every time I would try to open a PDF document, it would open and then it would crash, and it would give me a little sad dialog box that asked me if I wanted to submit my logs. And of course I do. I'm a team player. I'll do all that. And I tried uninstalling and reinstalling, and just nothing, just quit working. And so in desperation, I went out to the internet, and I went out to Bing, and I'm like, Foxit reader crashing. And turns out there's a setting inside of the Foxit reader that says enable cloud support or something like that for Foxit's cloud. And I disabled that. I unchecked that box. Now everything's fine. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if Windows updated and broke it, or if Foxit updated and broke it. But I've been using the Foxit PDF reader forever, and I was very sad that I thought I might lose that. But PDFs are everywhere. Word will open up PDFs. Word will edit PDFs. You can do that too. But I did like that demonstration of Acrobat doing it. Christopher in the chat room says that he has switched to Sumtra PDF. Foxit reader has become bloated, in his opinion. I don't disagree. And I think I mostly use the Foxit reader now because of inertia, because I've been using it for 6-8 years. I don't know how long. But it has got all these things like the cloud support, right? I don't need that. I don't care about that. And so I will definitely check out that Sumtra PDF. I will take that and I will copy it into a search window, and I will enjoy your suggestion. There we go. I will enjoy your suggestion later, Christopher. Thank you for that. All right. So another fun thing that I stumbled across here a couple of days ago. I've got the Microsoft Band 2, and mostly a happy owner of that. I use, I have to interrupt myself. This is hysterical. This is like one of those rhetorical questions. In the chat room, Lori says, Edge also is a PDF reader if you want to use that. Nobody wants to use Edge. Oh, of course not. No, nobody's going to use Edge to read PDF files. I would only use Edge. So Edge is one of those things that I would do. Like if one of my coworkers left Windows 10, logged in and unlocked at their desk, I might go by and open up Edge and set it as their default browser just to be a jerk. That's the only thing I would ever use Edge for. Is that. That's just horrible suggestion. I'm gonna bleep that out so the people who listen to this don't have to, the recording don't have to listen to the Microsoft Edge. Anyway, so using the Microsoft Band 2, mostly loving it. Had to get mine replaced. I did the cracking thing on the band here where the battery is. Walked into the Microsoft store in Des Moines, plopped it down. They hooked me up and I got a new one. So mostly happy with that. I've been using it for running. Love it for running. Does a great job with that. It probably lies to me and tells me how fast and how far I'm running, but I don't care. I'll take it. Kind of like the vanity sizing on my jeans. I don't mind. I'll take a little love in that way. But one thing that Microsoft announced here a couple of months ago, I forget exactly when it was with the Microsoft Band 2. They added the ability to control your phone, the multimedia on your phone. I'm like, that is awesome. Except it didn't work on Android. And you'll never guess what I use. I use Android. And I was very sad. It had to do with the way that the Band talks to your phone over Bluetooth and the profiles it uses and yada, yada, all that. And so I was very sad and I kind of forgot about it. But then last week, or I guess this weekend, yesterday, I was mowing the lawn and I was getting ready to go out, and I'd remembered that there had been an update to Microsoft Health, and I remembered that it had also updated my Band as well. And I'm like, I wonder if, and so I fired up. I was before the podcast recorded starting. I was telling folks I've been listening to the new Volbeat album. Volbeat, great Danish hard rock, heavy metal kind of band. I've been listening to that on Amazon MP3, so I wasn't even using Groove or any of the Microsoft stuff, and I wasn't using the default Microsoft MP3 app, which is Groove on Android. I wasn't using the default Google Play app. I was using some third-party thing, Amazon MP3. And if you double-click the power button or the whatever the light up button, if you double-click that on your Band, it will now connect to the media thing, and it worked. It was the most awesome thing. So I was mowing my lawn, and I had my phone in my pocket, and I had my noise blocking headphones on. And when I wanted to listen to a song again, I would just hit it and it would skip back. So it does play, pause, forward, reverse, and it will also let you turn the volume down and turn the volume up. So I was mowing my lawn, and one of my kids came outside and wanted to talk to me. So I'm like, this is great. I don't have to pull my phone out of my pocket. I just turned up my Band, got lit it up and turned the volume up as loud as I could and pretended like I couldn't hear him. It was awesome. So if you've been using your Band on Amazon and do any kind of media stuff, check that out. Again, if Microsoft Health is updated and your Band is updated, just double click the power button and the little media things will pop right up. But I was so impressed that it didn't have to be Groove or the Play thing. Would love that. So the last thing that I want to talk about is kind of a soft skill, a quieter moment here at Todd Klindt's podcast. We talk about a lot of really hard, meaty technical things. We talk about a lot of screwball things like how to keep me from being able to hear my children. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk about was talking. So here in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be at SP TechCon, going to be up on stage with some of you folks chatting about SharePoint and all that. And one of the things that I strive to do, because there is so much of it that needs to be done, is I like to be a better public speaker. I like to do better. I like to do a better job entertaining you folks and educating you folks and making the time that I get with you, the 60, 75 minutes, whatever, make it more engaging. And one of my friends at Rackspace, a guy named Major Hayden, recently had a blog post posted to the Rackspace blog, so blog.rackspace.com, and it's called How to Tame a Technical Talk. And Major's a good friend of mine and a good speaker, and I liked his thing. Now, I've been doing the public speaking thing for 10, 11 years, something like that. And so you would, well, if you've never heard me speak, you would think he's probably got it down by now. If you've ever suffered through one of my sessions, you know that there's clearly lots of room for improvement. And the thing that I really liked about a Major's blog post was there were still, after all the years that I've been doing this, there was a lot of things I'm like, oh yeah. Hey, I didn't think about that. That's a really good idea. So it's a short piece, nothing too heavy. Major's a pretty entertaining guy, but go on to blog.rackspace.com, and it's got How to Tame a Technical Talk. And there are pictures of elephants in there. It's all very good. Now, what you can't do, though, is you can't tell Major that I sent you this way. You can't tell Major that I said that his blog post was good. That's got to be our little secret. He's a little like Shane in that I don't want him getting a big head. But because I like you guys so much, and because I know there are a lot of folks in here that do some public speaking, and if there's not, a bunch of you guys should get up there and do it. SharePoint Saturdays, Toastmasters, whatever. Since I know that this information is good to you, I'm risking Major getting a big head, but go ahead and read that. I appreciate that. You'll like it. Christopher's asking if he's calling his audience a bunch of elephants. I'm not going to spoil the elephant analogy for you because I think he works it well. Kyle in the chat room is asking, am I speaking at Ignite? this year. I don't know yet. They haven't announced all that stuff. I don't know where that's going down. I'm certainly going to submit some stuff. I would certainly love to. I'm going to bribe people, kiss up, do whatever. So hopefully, Kyle, if you're there, you'll get to hear me speak. And even if I don't speak, I'm going to be there if I have to hitchhike and sleep in a dumpster. So come find me, preferably before I spend too many nights in the dumpster. Christopher noticed another thing on the URL. So I got the URL from I think the Rackspace Twitter account or something, and it had one of those dumb campaign things at the end so they could track the campaign. So I replaced the official campaign name with Todd Klindt is awesome. I'm hoping that we get enough links from the Todd Klindt is awesome campaign that somebody actually notices and they're like, what? So yes, that was me. So Jerry Lacanu in the chat room, he knows Major as well. He mentioned that Major could not get a big head if he tried. It's funny because Major is an incredibly down-to-earth guy, but somebody actually made a big head of one of those fat heads of Major, and so there actually is a fat head of Major. So that was pretty good. All right, so again, good reading, and even for folks who've done this before, there's a lot of good nuggets in there. Well, what the heck? Let's go ahead and move on to the self-promotion. I got a couple of things to chat about, a couple of new things. So I mentioned that the podcast is going to be showing up on itunity.com. I would also like to let you know that Unity Connect Online, IT Unity's online conference thing, is June 20th through the 23rd this year. So we're a couple of weeks out. You can sign up online for that. Let me get you a link. Stay put. Don't go anywhere. Here you go. unityconnect.com/online. So it's a great event. Lots of great stuff there. It's free. It's just free. And they've been doing this a few times. They do a great job managing this online free thing. So for goodness sakes, just because it's awesome and it's free, and to help those guys, sign up for unityconnect.com, free event and all that. But to sweeten the pot a little bit, I will be participating in not one, but two different talks there. So I'm going to be on a panel right before the keynote. They got Bill Baer doing the keynote. Not a lot of money in the budget there, so Bill was the best they could do. So I'm doing a panel with some folks. I think Jason Himmelstein's going to be on it. I think Lori's going to be on it, about how to roadmap for hybrid. If you're an on-prem person, or I guess for that matter, an online person, how do you roadmap all of the things, all of the products, the on-prem and the off-prem and all that? How do you figure out where those all introduce or interact? So we're going to do that. It's going to be open. You can just jump in there and ask us questions. We will answer whatever you ask, maybe even answer them correctly. We'll have to see how that goes. So I'm doing that before the keynote. And then I believe that Wednesday afternoon, I'm going to be doing, my Office 365 and PowerShell session. So if you've got Office 365, and if you don't, why not? And you want to use some PowerShell with that, jump in here. And I'm just going to be giving some examples. Don't worry about if you don't have any Office 365 experience or PowerShell experience. Trust me, I'm going to start at the beginning. It's going to be pretty easy for you. So check that out. Free event, unityconnect.com. Tomorrow morning, so 24 hours from now, it's all going to be over. I'm doing a webinar, webcast, web slinger, whatever, for AzureAD, the folks that make SP Doc Kit. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central, I'm going to be doing that upgraded webinar for those guys. So upgrading to SharePoint 2016. And you can register for that. I put the wrong link in my notes. So if you go to toddklindt.com/ well, you can just go to my blog. I blogged it there. But you can also go to toddklindt.com/ACCEL upgrade webinar. I didn't want to type out AzureAD. But I'll be doing that tomorrow. We're going to be talking about SharePoint 2016 server on-prem all the time, and what you should do if you've got SharePoint 2010, SharePoint 2013, and you want to upgrade. I will walk you through that. Also a free event. Those guys are great. Thanks to them for letting me do that and sign up for that. And I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning for that. This podcast won't be out yet, so you'll have to. I think they'll probably record it, so you can probably sign up and get that there. In a couple of weeks, I will be at SP TechCon. That's June 27th through the 30th at SPTechCon This one's out in Boston, and I will be doing my PowerShell and SharePoint Online Office 365 session. I will also be doing a session on, I just clicked the wrong thing. Doggone it. Configuring Azure Active Directory replication and Windows Active Directory replication. So similar one that I've done before, added a few things to this one. There, some of the control panels have changed, things like that. So that will be updated. And then also, this is new. I will be on a panel Wednesday night. I can't remember what that is. Just a second. I got an email here. Oh, well, I should probably back out of this one. It's an Office 365 SharePoint experts panel that I'm going to be on. That's 7 o'clock Wednesday night, and it's at the hotel where the event is at. So with this experts panel, I assume I'll be getting them water, fielding questions for them, things like that. Also a free event. Looks like the folks at Slalom are setting that up. So swing by for that. And again, I'm going to be all over there. Goodness sakes, if you're at SPTechCon, come find me, say hello. Even if we've met before, come up and say howdy. And I should have in here, Ignite is in September. You can go out there. I'm hoping to be there. I'm praying to be there. I've been bribing people. I've been sacrificing all the requisite things. So I will be there in Atlanta. And then finally, October 27th and 28th, Stockholm, Sweden for the SharePoint Exchange Forum. Also, they've met up with IT Unity for this. So it's going to be another joint event. So lots of opportunity to see me. If you're trying to avoid me, I apologize. I'm kind of all over, but busy next 6 months or so. So thanks everybody for your time. I appreciate you sticking with me. Slack channel, chat room, stick around. I'm gonna hang out with you guys for a bit. I'll also keep the stream going. For those of you listening to the podcast, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next week.